I seem to have created potentially a monster. Got a new monster I've created called Gimbal Walks. I had a previous monster called value stream mapping, and I've had a few other monsters I've helped to either create or to promote. And what I'm getting my head around right now is how to use this as a creative activity as opposed to a sort of mindless tool. Let's give an example. I went out a couple of weeks ago with a senior leader of a great big organization, and I had said, why don't we take a walk together? He said, great idea, I love this, I'm going to get down with people. So I said, okay. Of course, we got the corporate jet to go get down with people. And when we got there, we started off to look at actually a fairly simple activity, and we got to about the second step, and the person who was trying to do it clearly was struggling. And we said, well, what's the problem? And this person described the problem, at which point the big boss whips out his notebook and starts furiously writing, problem with step 2, what's the problem here? We got to answer this. And is immediately off into a now hear this mode, which is what life had taught him. This person, I think, was really a brilliant firefighter and had made his way up a big organization by just being better at working around things that were broken. And so he was immediately into workaround mode. And I said, but you've missed the entire point. What we're trying to do is simply grasp the situation. And what we're seeing here, by the way, is not that this is broken, but that this person, a really good person, has no method for defining what the problem is or for thinking about what to do. Instead, the person has sort of accidentally revealed what the problem was. This person has actually been dealing with this in secret, keeping it out of sight, so that everything sort of works. And that is this person's view of the most important feature of the job. And now what you're doing is sort of pulling it out and saying, who do we blame? Who do we blame? And there's nobody to blame. Well, maybe there's somebody to blame, but it's the people who created this process, not the people who are working it. And the minute you start down the give the answer, who do we blame mode, well, then you've completely destroyed the whole point of the tool. That you've turned it something that builds community into something that is just the same old, with a different label. So that's my concern right now. It's what I'm thinking a lot about, is how we can teach managers, all the way up to the top, to learn how to go see, to take a walk, to actually talk with people, but to talk about causes, talk about root causes, and talk about what they could do if someone would help them, what they could do to deal with this, rather than the boss at some higher level flying in, discovering the problem, and saying, here's the answer. That just isn't going to lead very far.